Hey everybody, this is my review for the brand new Jazwares FNAF, World of FNAF figures here. This is the 4-pack, which literally just came out today. They look really cool. Some scalpers have been getting these here, technically since yesterday, but, yeah. I haven't seen anybody do an actual review of these things as the 4-pack, and there are differences between the 4-pack and the single-release versions of these characters. I only have the single-release version of Toy Freddy on hand, though, but I'll get into that when I cover the individual figures. Yeah. You may have noticed this, thing up here. This is the logo for the r/jazwaresfnaf subreddit. I run the subreddit here, and it's a really cool place where people can post updates, post news, leaks, reviews, literally anything. Customs, yeah. Again, it's kind of really taped on here, but that's because this is just a slightly janky setup. Future reviews here, and I do plan on doing more reviews as the rest of Wave 1 comes out, will be quite a bit nicer. I already have most of the plushies, so you can expect a plush review here kinda soon-ish. Here's a closer look at packaging here. Looks pretty good. I really like that it's got like this screen here, and I like the very subtle texture on it. I don't know how well you can see that. It's got a really nice texture though, like not on the actual box, but like designed in on the thing. This only at Target thing is actually technically a sticker, which is interesting, I guess. You got a window up top here. Still using the old renders here where they don't have the eye rings for some reason. Yeah. Overall, though, this is a very nice looking box. I really do like how this looks. Here are both the single card Jazwares FNAF box things here compared to it and how those look, and the old Funko ones and kind of what those looked like. So you can kind of get a comparison here. And the Jazwares ones definitely feel so much more like FNAF. I don't know how to describe it. The packaging just feels so much less generic and so much more like specifically FNAF packaging here. So that's really cool. So here's how this is actually sealed here. It's got one of these circle things here, which you're going to want to cut. I'll do that in a second. And it's going on the bottom too. Yeah. Okay, so I got the circle in the back open. I didn't realize it earlier, but there's actually also ones on the sides here. Oh, yes, on both sides. That's interesting, I guess. So, yeah, you gotta cut these too. Okay, once you've got the ones on the side and the back up here, back top, cut, this thing just pops open. If you're planning on keeping the box looking nice, I don't recommend you cut the bottom one. I'm just gonna pull these out of here. Probably should have done that a little bit more gently, but I'm doing this one-handed. Okay, so here they are. Here's how the box looks. The box looks surprisingly good. Again, still holds itself much better together. Like, it holds itself together much better than the bubble grid. Sorry, got a little bit tongue-tied there. Here's what the figures look like. Still kind of in packaging here, but we get a little bit nicer of a look at them without some weird shadowing. So yeah, I'm gonna take them out of this here in a second. So once you pop this thing off, they've all got these tie things around them. Do not try and cut that with an X-Acto knife. Use scissors. It should be pretty easy to get them out of. Here is what they look like all put together. It took a very long time to get these guys together, specifically Mangle. You don't have to put the others together. Mangle is a pain. I'll get into that when I review them. I'm reviewing them last, because there's a lot of problems. I love how this figure looks, but man, there are a lot of problems with that one. Anyways, I'm going to start with the one I have a comparison for, that being Toy Freddy. So, hold on. Here are the two Toy Freddys. They look very similar at first, right? Well, this one is the one I had before from a single pack here. Okay, with the Toy Freddys here. They look very similar, but they do definitely have some differences. Again, my original one here that I got as a single pack feels very smooth to do the jump scare action with. But it's kind of harder to pose his arms individually there. Like, if I want to pose him, it's kind of hard to do here. Again, I'm very one-handed right now. It's a little bit harder to pose his arms, though. The jump scare action gets a little bit in the way. This one, jump scare action, feels very gross and stiff. This does not feel right. But, as a benefit, he's much easier to pose. Like, it doesn't... I can even probably do this one-handed. Yes, I can pose him one-handed. I could not pose him one-handed with the other one. So, the one that came in the 4-pack, I can pose better. You know, I can get him into a decent pose here. Yeah, again, this is a very quick pose to get him into. Took me like 2-3 seconds. You can also stand on this one leg pretty decently good. Like, obviously it's not the most stable thing in the world, but it works. This guy, if I want him to do that, that's not gonna happen. Hold on. He's not gonna... The drop down hips here are very, very loose. These are very similar, but they are not the same. He's glossy on the arms. He's semi-gloss on the arms. That sounds kind of random, but it is very much noticeable in person. They look slightly different. Like, their colors are slightly different just by a very, very small amount here. I didn't notice that before. But, like, I mean, yeah, they're slightly different here in both the colors and in the... This is not the most ideal setup here, but I've tried to get this here still so that I can move the figures with both my hands here. So, this is the one from the 4-pack here. Obviously, his arm's gonna look weird with the thing, but he's very easy to pose. I can pose him very easily and just move, say, one of his arms separately from the jump scare action and have it do what I want it to. I can pose him literally however I want it to. His knees are stiff though, so that takes a little bit more work. But I mean, you can get him into poses, and I'd rather the knees be stiff than loose. Obviously, I'll get to Mangle in a minute. I'd rather them be kind of stiff than loose, not super stiff, to the point of not being able to move, which is a problem with Mangle, but I will get to that when I get to that. I do really like this figure. The paint job, again, on the one I had before in the jump scare action, worked slightly better on the one from the single pack there. So the one... Okay, so I finally got the single pack version to get his arm all the way up like that. It was kind of hard to do that, though. It was not hard to do this with him. So, the 4-pack one. It was much easier. And again, they are different. I think this might actually be because it's the 4-pack one. Because again, their limbs are different. It's very hard to tell on camera, but it's very easy to tell in person, especially with the legs. They're more orange on the 4-pack one, and they're glossier on the 4-pack one. Like, I don't know how much I can move this light around here. You can see the reflection looks very different between the two. Anyways, yeah. I'm not sure which one I prefer. I think for display purposes, this one's a little bit better. But also, if you want to display them in any pose that's not just standing, this one's going to be better. So, I really don't know. They're both pretty great. They both look pretty good. Neither one looks bad. Neither one feels bad to use. But the 4-pack one, it does feel a little bit better to pose. But the jump scare action on it does feel a little bit worse. Again, yeah, I'm very mixed on which one I prefer. Jump scare action on this one feels much smoother, though. And again, the jump scare action looks weird because I've got one of the arms posed, but you get the point. Also, the waist does not swivel. Do not try and swivel the waist. You will break it. I have seen, like, 3 people now snap these things in half. Do not try and swivel this waist. It looks like it can. It cannot. I promise you. Moving on to Toy Bonnie here. It's kind of hard to get him into a nice pose with the arms here for some reason. They can pose, but it was just kind of hard to get them positioned nicely. His jump scare action is very stiff, but it moves a lot, which I do like. It's a very extreme one. That works well, but it is very stiff. Like, you have to give it some initial force in the thing for it to work. Like, you push it in a little bit, and then it clicks into place. Yeah, anyways. It's got a very snappy one. It looks good. His neck looks a little bit weird. But this is a good figure. They fixed him. The eyes. On the single pack release of him, the eyes were like, I don't know how to call it, zonked, wool-eyed. His eyes were looking in different directions. He was, he was in a different universe. Anyways, they fixed that. Yay. Looks better now. That's, I'd say, a pretty good reason to get the 4-pack over getting them individually. Like, instead of buying the 4 individually, you can get the 4-pack for the same price, and you'll have a better Toy Bonnie. For whatever that's worth. Again, Toy Freddy, it's a very hard pick. They have different advantages and disadvantages. Not sure why they're different. Another weird difference I'm just now noticing between the two Toy Freddys, his joint here is a solid color on this one, but on the single pack one, it's like a two-tone thing. Like, you can see 2 split colors. Very strange. I wonder why these are different. As I was saying, this figure looks really good. He's got a very help-wanted set of colors here. His blue is not nearly as light as the Scott model. It's clearly based on the Help Wanted one. But, I mean, it looks pretty good. I like this figure. Again, I wish the arms were more posable like the Freddy in the 4-pack here. Or like the toy Chica. But, it works pretty good. I like this figure. He can stand pretty good. His legs move pretty good. It's a pretty good Toy Bonnie figure. I do wish you could pose his ears, because they're kind of just stuck, sitting straight up. That's a little bit strange. Not the end of the world, but a little bit strange. Yeah. That would be nice. It's very game accurate. From the bottom angle, he looks a little bit weird, but you're not going to be viewing him like that. Yeah, I like this one. Toy Freddy and Toy Bonnie look really, really good. These figures are very, very nice. Moving on to Toy Chica. Okay. I'm not sure how well you can see this, but yeah, the drop-down hips just work very nicely on Toy Chica for some reason. Like, it just feels better to use than the others. It doesn't feel too stiff. It doesn't feel too stiff, but it works well enough. If you want to move her legs back, you're going to have to utilize them. So, yeah, it works. It gets the job done. It's a posable figure. Yeah, I'd say Toy Chica and Toy Bonnie are probably the most posable. And her jump scare action works pretty good on the arms. The beak looks a little bit weird on the paint job. I don't know how well you can see that. I'm going to try and focus this here. If I can get this to stay in focus here. Only like the tops of the teeth are painted. You can see a lot of orange on the bottoms of them. So that's strange, I guess. I mean, it's a very accurate figure here. It's giving you like a little rotation thing. These things are very noticeable on all of them. The screw cover things, you can really see these, but it's not a big deal. They're on the back. You're not really going to be looking at the back of these that much. They look pretty good. It's easy to get her into like a pose thing here. A standard standing pose. Toy Bonnie is a little bit harder to get into a standard standing pose here. So if I put his arms out, he's like almost T-posing here. Not quite, but like, yeah. And his arms don't go further down than that, so yeah. You're going to have to like awkwardly slightly bend his elbows to get him into a decent enough standing pose. That's a little strange. And moving Toy Bonnie's arms separately from the jump scare action is difficult and kind of scary because it's got this weird click sound to it and you feel like you're going to break it. So I will not be doing that. That's unfortunate. But it's still a really good figure. I feel like Toy Chica really would have benefited from having the rings on the eyes here. Like, not the colored rings, Toy Chica doesn't have those, but like the dark rings, even Funko did that with their figures. I feel like that would have gone a long way to making this look better, having just this slight, very thin black outline to the eye. Oh boy, Mangle. Okay. A few things. First of all, it took me 45 minutes to get all this together, because these joints are so stiff that they just refuse to go on. And yeah. Now, some of these are pretty decently posable. Again, kind of hard to do it because on this. But like, I mean, yeah, I can pose the head one pretty decently good there, even though it was hard to get on. Very stiff to get on. But this back leg, I can't move it at all. I'm going to break it. If you try and move this, see, you can even see like some slight stress marks there. If I even try and bend this at all, it's just bending this. Like, I'm going to circle the thing in the editor there. If you even try and move this back leg here, or bend it at all, you're going to break this joint. This joint here. Every time I try and move this one, it just bends the joint, even when I try and hold the body and stuff. Again, I'm doing this one-handed right now. But it's going to break it if you try and do that on mine. Mine has very, very stiff back leg there. Like, I can kind of do this. That's about it. So I had to kind of accommodate with that, with how I posed the other leg. I really hope they improve this in the future. This is very hard to put together. Like I said earlier, it took me 45 minutes. But now that they are together, the jump scare action feature thing on the heads is pretty cool. The endo head here has a very strange one. It's like a peg on the back. But like, I think there's supposed to be another piece to this, maybe? I'm not sure. That, like, goes in here and clicks that? I'm not sure. That is a little bit strange, but whatever. It's, like, underneath the endo head. Like, it's underneath the neck. But, I mean, you can do it. It does open and close. And the paint job's a little bit sloppy on the endo mouth there, where the teeth, like, come up a little bit above it. Not the end of the world. This figure looks pretty good. I really like how this figure looks. It's very nice looking. This figure looks very high quality here. And this works amazingly. Probably the best jump scare action there. It's not too intrusive. It's not too intrusive. It doesn't limit the articulation. And it's just a mouth, and it just works really good. And it's very snappy and clicky, and it feels good. I also like that Mangle has both the eye rings and the black area around the eyes. Here it's gray, not a huge deal. It looks really good. I really like how this figure looks. This figure was a pain to put together though, and the posability in it sucks. So do with that what you will. And you can't take this apart and put it back together. You're supposed to be able to, but you can't. It's not going to happen. Again, it's got some posability here and pretty much anywhere. Not on these things. This is a stuck zigzag. Yeah, it was hard to put together. Once you got it together, it's a nice figure. Except for moving this back leg on mine, but that's just mine. Anyways, yeah, I like it now that it's put together, but that definitely soured my taste. Oh yeah, the heads come off like that too. And you can't move. I wish that was on like a ball joint so you could move it like that, but you have to move the whole neck because it's just a rotation on the neck here. Like this, so you can tilt the head like that if you wanted to. Pretty cool. I like this figure once you've got it together, and ignoring my broken leg there. Something I was kind of curious about is if these things fit on there, so I'll try that here in a second. Not only is that a yes, that's the ideal fit. It fits so much better than the actual Mangle joints do. It's got such smooth movability, but it's not loose. Like, it's not going to fall off. I can shake it. Yeah, this is perfect. I really wish these joints went on like that. That fits perfectly. Like, obviously, that doesn't look very good because it's a ruined Chica leg, but yeah. Yeah, overall, comparing these with, like, the Funkos here, this is the only Funko figure I have at the moment on hand here. But, yeah, I get what Funko was doing, but Funko didn't make the toys or the wizards or a lot of the things fans wanted, and Jazwares is going to do those. So, I mean, it's better to have them than not have them at all. And if we compare these to the toy animatronic skins that Funko did, because Funko did do those, just not the actual toy animatronics, we can see that these do look better than what the Funko toy animatronics would have looked like. So, I mean, yeah. I like these. These look good. Comparing it to a Funko here, Funko's definitely better at the paint job at the end of the lifespan there. Like, towards the end of the Funko line there. They got really good with the paint jobs here. The paint job on this is just an absolutely amazing thing here. And these have some paint job issues. But overall, I like these. They're pretty good. I definitely recommend getting this 4-pack here. Please let me know if your Mangle also has super stiff joints. I would like to know if that's more shared, because that is definitely a huge issue. I straight up just can't pose this back leg. Also, very interestingly, Mangle's foot is glossy white, Mangle's tail is glossy white, but Mangle's head and hands are matte white. That's a bit strange. Again, not a complaint, just like a weird oddity. Also, they mixed 2 of the legs together as one. That's actually what the Help-Wanted model looks like when it's T-posing, so that was probably an accident. That's a strange thing, I guess. Not a huge deal. I'd say the 4-pack is worth the $40. It's $10 per figure, better than Funko's prices, but I definitely do think there are some quality control issues here, which is unfortunate. I really hope they fix those. Again, though, join r/jazwaresfnaf if you're interested in, like, discussion of these figures, news, leaks, anything. I'm really excited for future waves, but I'm cautiously optimistic. And I say that because, again, this wave has a lot of issues, but it also has a lot of upsides. There's a lot of good things about this wave, but it definitely has its issues. So, I mean, yeah. But, like, I mean, this is just such a good recreation of the toy Bonnie figure in FNAF 2. Like, look at the toy Bonnie figure on the desk, and then look at this thing. It's, yeah, that's spot on. This thing looks just like the character here. That's great. Mangle looks amazing. Mangle's probably the best looking one, visually. This looks great. That just feels good to do. Yeah, I really hope in the future, in terms of the jump scare action, they stop making it involve the arms. The jump scare action should just be like this. Just a thing on the back of the head here, which is thin. This is unintrusive. Doesn't make a huge, big bulging thing on the back of the design, like these are. And it just works. It works pretty good to move the mouth. I feel like that's what they should be doing, rather than the full moves the arms and the mouth thing. Because, well, the arms and the mouth thing isn't bad. It limits posability, and it makes it so you can't pose the head. Mangle's head can pose. These guys can't. There's no head posability here. Because of the way this mechanic has to work, you're not posing that head. And again, that's unfortunate, because posing the head is something that the Funkos could do here. It's kind of hard to do one-handed, but yeah. That was a thing that they could do. So, it's always sad to see, like, a downgrade from toy line to toy line in terms of a specific feature, but overall, I'd say the new toy line is an upgrade over the Funko one. So, yeah. So, here's how they actually look on the shelf. I don't have that much room, so I have no idea how I'm going to fit the other figures here. Like, obviously, some stuff's going to be covered up front here, like the Endospheres and stuff. I've got them in the poses they're going to be in. I'm going to give them 3D printed accessories here, or Funko ones. I'm not sure. So, either I'm going to give him a Funko guitar and a Funko cupcake, or I'm going to 3D print them ones. Again, I'm not sure. We'll see what I do there. Yeah. You can see I've got the single card Freddy over here by his packaging, and single card Chica by her packaging. But there's really not that much room on my shelf here.